Welcome to Fright Night.
What do we get from the light of the sun?
A nasty burn, now isn't that fun?
Swim in the ocean, run on the beach,
Drown in the surf and blood like a leech.
we have no time for merrymaking. Chop off the head for badness sake, sell for a limb, batter and bake. Nasty spells of bubonic night, come close and see what's hidden from sight. Something festering in my bed bugs dancing on my
Hey everybody, welcome to Get Busy Watching! I'm your host Honest Dan, and welcome back to my Halloween special. And yeah, intro, week 3, let's go!
Something festering in my bed bugs dancing on my head. Ever offends and makes you scream. I want to die on Halloween. Halloween, Halloween, I want to die on Halloween.
Under the bridge of goblin weights, she never sleeps or hesitates.
Based on the manga of the same name, Akira Tendo hates his day job. But when zombies attack, he is beyond happy and takes his newfound freedom to do everything he wants to do while saving his best friend and making new friends. I'm sure manga aficionados are going to tell me that the source material is much better, but as an outsider looking in, I had fun with it. What utterly gets me is just how elated Akira is when he doesn't have to go to work thanks to this apocalypse. In fact, he never takes his situation too seriously, making small goals for himself like cleaning his apartment and cooking a steak. Even going so far as to pause his meal when he doesn't have proper seasoning to enjoy it and heads out into the zombie wasteland to find the spices and sauces that he wants. I guess if you hate a job enough, the end of the world doesn't sound so bad. But as funny as Akira is, the movie doesn't forget to let him be a real person, having fallen out with his best friend and wants to make things right with him. Of course, we get the badass female character who takes everything way too seriously, but lightens up as she gets with these buffoons. The only thing that I know will be a hit and miss for a lot of people is the climax. Let's just say, zombie shark. It gets so over the top that I think this took a few too many cues from the Sci-Fi Channel. It has a beating heart, so to me, that's what makes it endearing. So if you have Netflix and you like such movies as Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead, then this will be right up your alley. I recommend it. My honest rating for Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, a strong 4 out of 5.
Tell me a story full of betrayal, a headless horseman covered with snails.
A teen girl's former best friend is taken by an unseen monster. When the monster targets her next, she desperately scrambles for a way to save herself and those that she cares for.
I can't do this alone. Please.
It's not bad. I appreciate the cultural highlight, the monster in question being a POOH, which is from Hindi folklore. So on that note alone, it's already more intriguing than most creature features. But it still falls prey to a lot of Western tropes. The story structure is your prototypical horror outing. Someone is afflicted by the monster first, it moves on to the protagonist of the story, who slowly breaks down and becomes increasingly haunted by the monster, rather than just killing the protagonist outright, until the climax where things heat up. Yes, I am aware that there are explanations as to why the monster doesn't kill the main character, Sam, but it's for pretty standard reasons that even objectively worse horror flicks have used. Also, without giving much away, the POOH generally looks like this from my Google searching, but the movie makes it look more like one of the mold monsters from Resident Evil 7. The point is, it's not an original design. What I appreciate is the very committed acting with both Megan Suri as Sam and Niru Bajwa, apologies for the mispronunciation, as her mother, stealing the show and having incredible chemistry. Some of the writing certainly intensifies the drama in a forced way, but when it counts, it feels real. I also appreciate that the POOH is mostly really there, as in it's an animatronic, a puppet, or a dude in a suit. Rarely is it CGI. By the way, the actor that plays Sam's father is Vic Sahay, who played Lester in the TV show Chuck. Dude, the hair that he cut off his head went right to his face. I barely recognized him. This had such potential, but is otherwise really watered down into something that's a little too recognizable and too safe. I feel like it could have been pushed much further, but is otherwise unremarkable. Great acting, an interesting premise, but the execution it falls short. My honest rating for It Lives Inside, a 3 out of 5.
The POOH doesn't kill you right away. It feeds on you slowly.
Follow the path, the sleepless night. Feels so good to have a bad fright.
Set in 1981 Spain, Lola and Adolfo recently married, but she has a miscarriage. Months later, they adopt the albino twins Tin and Tina. But not long after, their deeply religious behavior causes chaos.
Ya sé lo que estás pensando y son muy mayores. Y un poco raros.
Estos niños necesitan amor.
I got serious orphan vibes from this, and that is a very good thing. 2 killer children as opposed to 1. Man, that is terrifying. Kids are creepy enough as is, man. What this excels at is really playing with the idea of whether or not these kids actually know if they're doing something heinous or not. From suffocating each other as a game to talk to God, to gutting the family dog as a means of cleansing its soul, their actions get pretty twisted. But then again, that's the power of the fanatically religious. Even some of their actions can genuinely be misinterpreted. There's a scene where Lola and Tina are about to roll out a cake and Lola asks Tina to sprinkle powdered sugar on it. She does so, but accidentally almost puts insect poison on it. Later on, the twins are attempting to show love to Lola by giving her milk with powdered sugar in it. But you don't see the container from where the sugar came from, so you genuinely don't know if the twins were about to poison her. It's pretty ingenious. About the only thing I don't like is the wishy-washy nature of Lola's affections toward the twins. She wanted to adopt them, but she almost immediately finds them strange. Adolfo didn't want to adopt them, but he loves them right away. Sometimes Lola finds their odd behavior charming, but sometimes it deeply disturbs her. It's never consistent, and even flirts with the idea that she's going as mad as the twins are, but never fully goes in that direction. Also, kind of hate the ending, but also think it's one of the best horror climaxes this year. I think it delivers on suspense and manages to be really disturbing without going completely graphic with it. You never really know what's going on or how far things are going to be pushed. And believe me, there wasn't much further this could have pushed things. I really like it, so if you have Netflix, check it out. I recommend it. My honest rating for Tin and Tina, a strong 4 out of 5.
Y tú algún día lo creerás también.
Something raging down the hall. Watch your step, you'll have a great fall.
This Spanish slasher flick is about a killer in a freaky clown mask that stalks a group of college kids who are also book enthusiasts and kills them off one by one.
Aterrada, sin poderse mover por el dolor, me miró a los ojos. Rogó una y otra vez que no lo hiciera, pero no tuve piedad. Se lo merecía.
Think a weird combination of I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream, but without an original slasher killer and none of the self-aware charm and humor. The reason I make the Scream reference is because these characters spend so much time referencing the tropes of the horror genre. It practically opens on how the characters hate the genre and find it contrived without actually going into the contrivances and why they're bad. Ironically, that's this entire movie. Contrived and cliched. And the reason why it's bad is because it's predictable. A lot of it makes no sense, and worst of all, every single character is galactically stupid. Think one of your friends is a secret murderer? Lock yourselves in a room together and never let anyone walk around alone. Why does no one in these movies ever think about that? Oh gee, a killer clown? Never seen that before. A killer in a cheap mask bought at the very school all this happens at? Why yes, I too have seen Happy Death Day. The only saving grace this would have had would be creative deaths. But no. Most either happen off screen, and some are even revealed to not have happened at all. Oh my god, the amount of fake outs were enough to drive me insane. And those that are shown to really die are simply sliced in the chest with blood comically spraying like this is an anime. No spilled guts or anything. So disrespectful. I won't say that there weren't some brutal deaths, but one should have been the least impressive, and the other, okay, was pretty sweet, but in a slasher flick, one decent violent death is hardly impressive. By the end, it teases a sequel, literally talking about it too, and I gotta tell ya, I really hope one isn't made. I've seen some derivative films in my life, but damn, how desperate were the filmmakers here? I guess if you've never seen a teen school slasher movie before, then I guess you'll do alright. But if you're well versed like I am, skip this. My honest rating for Killer Book Club, a 2 out of 5.
Tía, ¿por qué no vamos a la policía? Todavía estamos a tiempo de contar que un loco nos está acosando. Que no es un loco, Ángela. Ray tiene razón. Es alguien del club.
Something raging down the hall. Watch your step, you'll have a great fall.
This Chilean vampire romp follows an aging vampire who no longer wants to live anymore after 250 years. His children visit him after a string of murders in the city in hopes of inheriting his vast fortune, while an accountant nun is hired to kill him.
He watched the blade fall on Marie Antoinette.
It's aight. I give credit that it's certainly different from your usual vampire fare, but as to whether or not it makes sense or gels together very well, I don't think so. It's an interesting premise. A vampire fed up with life stops drinking blood and decides to just die. And the idea of his 5 adult children wondering how the spoils of his long life will be divvied up has potential to be kind of funny. To top it all off, the Count is famed real-life Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet, sorry if I mispronounced that, who faked his death, and his mother is none other than Margaret Thatcher, who was also a vampire. Saying this out loud sounds as absurd as it is amazing. But very little is done with this idea and spends most of its time trying to justify Augusto's life, his rise in power, and eventual loss of said power. I appreciate some of the deviousness when Augusto isn't looking, like an affair between his wife and his faithful butler, and that the children hired a nun to kill their father, who in turn falls in love with him. But I guess everything happens too quickly and with very little dramatic flair that I found it hard to be that invested in how things will develop. I sure wanted to see how it ended, but it was a mild struggle to get through. A lot of visuals were quite striking, the practical effects were solid, and the black and white added to the gore. So there's plenty that a closet sociopath like me will enjoy. Just not all of it. I like it enough, but it's a hard sell for anyone who might prefer their vampire movies to be a little more action-oriented as opposed to a borderline sitcom. And without an abundance of the calm. But if you want something different in your movies about fanged monsters, then head on to Netflix and check this out, see what you think. My honest rating for El Conde, a strong 3 out of 5.
Ya no. Lo he visto muy enamorado de una joven contadora francesa. A mi general le gustan los caballos finos.
Halloween, Halloween, I want to die on Halloween.
A slasher horror reimagining of the classic characters. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet have become feral and murderous. After kidnapping a now adult Christopher Robin, they terrorize some girls.
Please. Why are you doing this?
The premise alone should have been a so bad it's good type of thing, but instead is just boring. Literally the only positive I have is that the deaths are gruesome. Hey, I've seen slashers that aren't, so that is a plus in my book. It's obviously very fake in some cases, but it's an indie flick, so I let that slide. And big honkin' boobies from one character. who is axed off pretty early on. You know, this movie sucks the more I talk about it. Oh, I guess there's that first chick that got killed and her shirt was randomly ripped off. No, that really happens. I don't know why it happens, but it does, and she dies right there and then. Just... why? Yeah, if that's all I have to say about the positives, then you know just how bad this is. First off, you cannot, and I can't stress this enough, you cannot make a movie about a killer Winnie the Pooh and take yourself seriously. This is a fundamentally stupid idea, and you have to make your movie as stupid and ridiculous as possible. Self-awareness, y'all. For that matter, the only two characters that make an appearance are Pooh and Piglet. Where's Owl? Where's Rabbit? And hang on a second, why are Pooh and Piglet wearing clothes? Pooh is famously bottomless. Y'all didn't want a Pooh Bear dong swinging loose and fancy free? No imagination. The script is awful, the direction is terrible, and if anyone is considering a sequel, drop it immediately. I didn't go in thinking it would be good, but I was hoping for a so dumb it was good type of thing. I didn't get that, and it really bums me out. I want a refund on a movie that I didn't pay for. My honest rating for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, a 2 out of 5.
What have he done to you? Just maws me.
Oftentimes we're better off dead when we wake the scourgers red.
After the adults of a small farming community agree to let the government destroy their corn for money, the angry young denizens capture the adults, leaving only one teen girl to save the day. It's bad. I don't think it's as bad as the reviews will let on, but as an outsider looking in on this franchise as a whole, it has its redeeming qualities, if not an overall silly time. The only redeeming aspect of the flick is the two leads, Elena Kampouris of sequel Greek Wedding fame, and young Kate Moyer as the main antagonist, Eden. Between Kampouris' committed acting to being the final girl and Eden as the lead killer kid, this has no shortage of talent that would have worked in any other setting rather than here, but still provide a level of entertainment from sheer raw talent. Also, my inner sociopath enjoys the over-the-top violence. One death in particular kind of stays with me, and I kind of love it. However, good acting is no substitute for a good story, and boy howdy does the story not line up with what I know about the Children of the Corn series. I mean, I've never seen the original, so what do I know? But I'm pretty sure the titular children were never doing any of their heinous deeds to appeal to a homicidal corn version of Groot. No, seriously, that's what the monster is in this thing. And anytime it showed up, I couldn't stop laughing, and not once could take it seriously. How a bunch of adults managed to let a bunch of snot-nosed kids take complete control of an entire town is beyond my understanding. A lot of deaths make no sense and could have easily been prevented, and weight is given to the deaths of characters that barely have any screen time. I understand that this isn't a true remake of Stephen King's original short story, but rather an exploration of the presented mythology. Bully for this movie, I guess, but that doesn't exactly make it good. Look, I'm not sitting here pretending to know how good this franchise is. To my understanding, it was never good, despite its countless sequels. But I have to imagine this is a special kind of suck, even for this franchise. I'm not impressed, despite the fact that the acting from the two leads is the only thing saving it. My honest rating for Children of the Corn, a weak 3 out of 5.
Really? You want to mess with me? Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, let's play. Steve, Joe, let's go!
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, stay safe and healthy out there, and hope to see you next week for my 4th and final Halloween special.
Something rancid in the